1 to 10, what is your rage factor right now?
I'm sitting somewhere around 15 right now.
So would you say this is going to be a great hangout?
It's going to be an awesome one because not only have I spent a half hour trying to get this fucking thing to work properly, I probably sent out about 8,000 phantom invites to everyone in my circles, and now they're going to be clicking through them, finding all these dead fucking broadcasts, trying to find the actual real one.
Well, the cool thing about that is they can fuck right off. That's the cool thing about that.
At this point, yeah, they can. Yeah.
Oh, man. Please let it work, maybe somehow?
Yes, please, 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 please.
It does say shared publicly, so...
I see it now. I see it. Awesome.
Alright. I still don't.
Yes.
I'm looking at your YouTube page to make sure it does.
Yeah, I have it in my video manager now, so I'm actually on the page, so...
Cool. So it'll show up momentarily?
Yeah, it should.
Yo.
Get better at this point.
Yeah,
Hey,
it
Aaron.
does. Ooh. Aaron's in here? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Hello!
Sorry if you got like 8,000 invites.
Yeah,
Aaron.
no, don't worry about it. I've already been briefed on how much of a noob you are, so...
It gets around quickly, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Aaron, like I said, Brad had to say we were going to do the duo review that we did last Friday, and he's like, I forgot how to do this. Everything's different. And I'm like, I don't know how to do it because I don't fucking have a channel to do it on. So I'm sitting there trying to help Brad through it, and Brad has no idea what's happening. It took him like 15 to 20 minutes to figure out you had to share it publicly, and it finally worked out. So it was good times.
Cool.
I do not like that you have to share it publicly. That's just fucking horseshit.
I mean, I guess you can delete it after, or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yay, I'm here.
What's going to happen is all those 2 or 3 hangouts, Lee, are going to go probably after they're done recorded to your video manager. I think that's what happened with Brad, and you just delete them because
Yeah.
that's it.
I can see why. Like I haven't hosted one of these in a while, but now I see why the last little while I've seen like several of people I've subscribed to have started these things. They have like 3 or 4 in their fucking feed now. So
Yeah.
They're going to be so angry. Oh my god.
What are you guys drinking?
I got a bone checker right now.
The he said, oh, I took the fucking wrong. Jesus Christ, that was stupid. I was gonna drink the both of them are called He Said from 21st Amendment, but I took the pumpkin spice triple out instead of the pumpkin spice Baltic Porter. So
I thought you were gonna drink that last night.
Yeah, I didn't end up drinking anything last night.
The fuck did you just send in the chat?
Oh, that's a new article that came across my feed from somebody. Top 50 beers made in Toronto. I'll be right
Oh, this should be interesting.
I think that's the Ben guy that was giving Chad shit.
Oh, that douchebag.
I haven't. I can't speak to whether or not. I mean, he did sound a little douchey, but I don't know him. But the name seems like hardly a coincidence, I imagine.
Well, let's see.
A beer blogger named Ben in Toronto.
But okay, well, his first, I think the picture he's got on his article here for just to start off with is kind of a fail because it's a big tub of Mill Street beers.
Street.
The organic, baby!
And there's only, I think, one of them in there that's any halfway decent, which is their coffee porter. Then they get the lemon tea beer and the organic, which suck.
I think that's Tank House on the other side, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Isn't that like their regular core offerings right there?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be in this thing, but I just tried to put my kid to bed, and I'll maybe up and about or out and about. We'll see.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
disappointment.
the top 50 beers made in Toronto, I have to disagree with Blitzen. Like, it's not that great. And I just had it. I mean, it was aged, but whatever. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Number nine
Saison?
Number 9 IPA by Duggan's Brewery is on there.
Is that
Holy
the
shit.
Duggan?
Oh, the
Yeah,
Duggan.
that's the Duggan. Yeah.
I'm sure it's an amazing beer.
Yeah, so he's got this separated. Of course, this is probably his subjective opinion, of course, but
for sure, yeah.
yeah, but he's got it separated from gateway beers. The next category is Say. This is a little different. Next is Let's Get Hoppy. Very original.
That was so bad. Jesus.
Let's get serious. Bring the funk. And that's all.
Hit the X button.
What's everybody drinking tonight?
Okay. What are you drinking? Water? Good water? Is that some?
I am going to grab a beer. I just polished one of these off with the wife, actually.
Yeah.
Pumpkin.
How was it this year?
Like it's good, dude. But I think I'm just over the whole fucking thing. I was pretty.
Let's be honest.
I was pretty jazzed to try it out, man. Or not to try it out, but to not try out a lot of pumpkin beers for the first year in probably the last 3 or 4 years, because I have had a soft spot for pumpkin. It's probably what got me into craft. Actually, is that this season. I think the seasonal thing sort of really got me into craft. But this year I was like, no pumpkin, but I'll get pumpkin because it's awesome. But I finished that bottle and I'm like, holy fuck, it's just too much, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I didn't buy pumpkin this year, and or Warlock, or really almost any pumpkin beer that's in more than a 12-ounce bottle or can. Number one, I don't want to drink that much pumpkin beer, and number two, after drinking as many pumpkin beers as I have in the past, I know from past experience, it's just like there's not the majority of them are pretty shitty. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. Most of them are spice bombs. Most of them are either spice bombs or way too sweet. And you find those few that are good. I'd rather have someone do it for me. I know that sounds really bad, but it's like I'd rather have one that's rated very highly or talked about in a positive way before I actually go and purchase it. The random buying nowadays isn't.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that for sure. But I mean, pumpkin has always been a staple for me. But when you look at the fact that it's a bomber. My wife drank maybe a little bit of it, but I wouldn't call it way too sweet, but it isn't exactly it is fucking sweet. So it gets a bit too much, I guess.
Yeah.
It is like drinking a cookie, like.
It's like drinking like an overly sweet double IPA that doesn't have enough hop balance, and the malt base just kind of kills it. Once you get halfway through a bomber of that, you're just like, it's so sweet, I don't really want to drink anymore. There's not for me.
No, you'd probably want it as like a dessert beer or something, like right after you ate.
Which is exactly what we did, actually. But I'm gonna grab another beer. I just don't know what the hell I want to drink, so maybe I'll pull a Chad and give you guys a number 1 or number 2 or number 3.
So 7.
7.
Number 3, I'll say.
Yeah,
I haven't even.
Number 3.
I'll have to pull them out of the fridge first because that would be. It's a loaded question.
So now he's going to arbitrarily decide which is 3. And
the third beer in which you actually make eye contact with as you open the fridge.
Oh fuck! God no. I hope I don't have any macros in there then.
Oh, I hope you do, because that would be interesting.
I don't. So.
I know. It's unfortunate. So what you're saying is there isn't any $9.99 cases of Natty Ice hanging out in your fridge anywhere? Is that what you're trying to say?
As good a value as that is, no, there is not.
It's a pretty fucking fantastic value, even if you despise it.
A lot of people would disagree with you, Aaron, and they'd say that you're wrong to not have that.
So I've been told.
In my opinion, it's a great beer, and a couple million people can't be wrong. Type of thing going on.
I can still hear you, by the way. I'm just going to the fridge to get some beer.
Right on.
Well, I mean, we should kind of. Well, Dave, I don't know. You say you don't have any topics, but at some point we should have kind of dissect this 50 top beer.
That's what I was thinking of doing. There's a lot of stuff on here I've never had, so. But
that probably is the majority of us, honestly. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure Chad hasn't even had probably half, maybe a third of this stuff.
Yeah, like Gateway Beer's best bitter from the Granite Brewery. I've never had anything from Granite.
Yeah, I've never heard of them, to be honest with you.
They started here in Nova Scotia, and then they opened up a place in Toronto, and
They're kind of like an old English ale.
yeah.
Or that was their staple at one point.
Well, they had an Old Peculiar rip-off beer. That's what they were famous for, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that?
Let's see, Calm Before the Storm from Amsterdam. They're mild ale. I never had that either, but I'm interested in that, actually.
And you don't see many mild ales being brewed in the States, period, or in the States, in North America, period.
Ooh.
But that's a
You don't?
style.
I thought they were on every corner.
Shut up, Daniel Harper. Yeah, great stuff. I wish they were on every corner, to be honest. I would like to try it because it's like one of those styles that if you ask the majority of people in North America, even people who've had thousands of beers, they probably only had maybe a handful of mild ales or dark mild ales in their life.
Let's see here. Cobblestone Stout. I'd agree with that one for a Gateway beer.
Oh yeah.
That better than Guinness Draft even for a Gateway beer, and just a better beer, honestly.
It's a more flavorful Guinness, basically, is what it is, and that's
the only thing is you got to have that so damn cold. Like, yeah, if you're a beginner and you're getting into craft beer and you open that one, that might just turn you off just because it fucking explodes all over your face.
That's one of the beers that I don't regret not telling Paul to keep it cold so it exploded on him. It's pretty good.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Here's one I've never had. Grognard Session Stout from Bellwoods.
I haven't had it either.
Yeah,
have you ever seen it available now, Aaron? Because that's one that you would think. I don't think any of us have had it. Like,
no, that was like last year at some point. I do remember seeing it available at one point. No, just on the website, not on. Yeah.
If there's one brewery that could make a 3.8% session stout taste good, it'd be Bellwoods.
I would think so, yeah.
Stay classy at 2.9 is amazing.
Yeah. The next is the Kolsch from the Beer Academy. I've never had anything from Beer Academy either, so. Beer Academy is owned by Sixpence arm of Molson Coors.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine.
So, go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I can't imagine that would be too offensive. It'd probably be it's a Kolsch, so like, what do you expect, really?
I wonder, is the Beer Academy kind of like? Did you guys ever hear of AC Golden out of Colorado?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm not.
Yeah, it does.
Apparently, AC Golden is owned by Molson Coors, and they make amazing sours, like, but they don't sell it outside the I don't even know if it's a tap room or what it is, like outside the small brewery they have going on, which kind of shows you that like they can make great stuff, but nobody knows about it. I don't know. I'm just wondering if you guys ever heard about it. I remember someone in Joe D's hangout, the Share Beer. The one guy used to have on there named Zach. He actually owned a he went from
Zach.
he went from being on his show to he actually owns a brewery now in Colorado called Chain Reaction. I think they've been open for like 6 months, and he was the guy that I remember him mentioning it in the hangouts. Like, you guys ever hear AC Gold? Yeah, I've went there plenty of times and had amazing sours, and they're owned by Molson Coors. So the public perception they can't make good beer or they won't is incorrect, but I guess they won't make good beer that they can share it with everybody.
Yeah. The next one is from Cheshire Valley. Their English mild, the Mildly Amusing. A lot of milds popping up in this list that I've never heard of, so maybe there are more than we thought. The Nut Brown from Black Oak, I agree with that. That's a good beer. That's a good entry beer. I mean, that's right there at the Black Oak, whatever. So that's basically a tourist beer right off the bat, pretty much. Yeah. So, Steam Whistle Pilsner, yeah, I agree with it. Although I still want to try Steam Whistle Plus. I mean, Steam Whistle Pilsner is kind of, honestly, it's kind of boring compared to regular Pilsners, like the really good stuff, even standard stuff you get from Europe, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I've never had Steam. I just never bought it. Never cared to. Never really had it sent to me.
I'm gonna bust in here for a second and put. I grabbed 3 beers out of the fridge. So 1, 2, or 3.
In the fridge.
3. And there's Guy. He managed to get on.
So you've knocked off 3. Now 1 or 2.
Oh, we've knocked off 3.
I was
Then 2,
going first. So that's a split. One or 2. You guys need to come to a consensus.
give it. Scott, are you there? Give a tiebreaker. 1 or 2.
Jesus.
What? I don't know. 1. I don't know.
Let Guy with Surge do the tiebreaker.
All right. You knocked off 1 then.
Oh boy.
Don't your name.
Or whatever.
Duchesse. Yep. Where the fuck is my bottle opener?
Guy, what in the fuck are you doing, bro?
He's on a phone. What the fuck's he doing? Trying to Google on a phone.
We actually can't hear you at all. We can see you.
You're not muted either. So.
Yeah.
I didn't remove him. He must have removed himself, but it makes it sound like I did it.
No, I had.
Oh, you're not a very good friend, are you?
The fucking Google Plus is accusing me now. Not only did it put me to the fucking runaround for a half hour, now it's accusing me of booting people from the fucking thing.
Lee, I just wish you were a better friend.
You're a bad man, aren't you?
I'm terrible. Well, he still got the invite link, so he should be able to get on.
You know, why would he want to get on when you removed him?
I don't know.
Move.
He's used to me abusing him, though. So we'll move up on the list here to say this is a little different. So this is a bit more. This I don't know. I don't know about this guy.
The worst headline that everybody's saying. That's just a little different. Well, fucking. I can't say anything bad.
You have to sell it somehow, so it's got to be cute and silly and.
And it definitely shouldn't be sexist.
You dumb.
So he's got the Blitzen from Bellwoods, which is a Saison at 10%. Holy shit. Oh.
Aaron just had that
I
recently.
just had that actually.
How long? He said it wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great.
So what was it? Kind of weak sauce, or did it just not taste good?
No, the nose was fucking fantastic. But so it's an Imperial Saison at 10%. Plus, it has lemon and plum added to it.
Oh.
Yeah, so the nose was very you didn't really get exactly plum, but you did get that kind of sweet stone fruit sort of thing going on. A little bit of lemon. It smelled like it gelled really well, but in the mouth, it didn't. It kind of fell apart into individual parts. A really kind of weak Saison, then a lot of lemon, and a little bit of kind of grapiness, and a lot of alcohol. It was really alcoholic. I was surprised. It was a year-old bottle actually, and it was really alcoholic.
Jeez.
I think that's one of those styles where, if you get a lot of alcohol like an Imperial Stout or Port or barley wine or whatever, it kind of accentuates the rest of the flavors as long as it's not predominant to the point where it's like, oh god, But in a style like that, if you don't hide the alcohol well, or like in an IPA or double IPA, man, for me, almost undrinkable.
Well, original Saisons are never meant to have high alcohol in the first place, so it's kind of you're kind of fighting against, you're kind of pissing in the wind to start with that.
It's a new style, Lee. Don't you understand?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Bellwoods doesn't do anything to tradition though, so
no.
It's not that I want to hold them to any kind of tradition. The beer would have been great if it tasted the way it smelled. It wasn't terrible by any means. It was just not. I mean, the nose was like a 4.5, but I gave it a 3.5 on the whole. So
I wonder if they could have done the same thing but made it like 6-7%. Like if it would have still had the same characteristics, or if the alcohol added to everything. That's one of those.
I think the alcohol sort of. I think it may have been there to accentuate sort of that plummy, sort of almost a Christmas I think it was intended as sort of a seasonal for that time of year. So they wanted to take a saison and somehow like make it, that it fit into a winter season almost.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's sort of what they were going with. I think they wanted a punchy ABV. I was a little surprised at how much the alcohol came out. I've had 10%ers, I've had probably 100 plus, and some not quite that alcoholic. But on the whole, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
Okay. So next I got another saison, Farmhouse from Shacklands. Never heard of it.
Shacklands.
Yeah, Shacklands.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never had it. It sounds good though, dry hopped with Citra.
Mm-hmm. And they got another Farmhouse here from Bellwoods again. Their Farmhouse Classic, which is at 7%.
Yeah,
I think that's the base for Farmageddon.
And what do they do? Put Farmageddon in like wine barrels or something?
Brett aged oak barrel, something or other. Everything's with Brett, don't you know?
Oh yeah, every fucking thing with Brett.
Brett, that fucking bastard.
Hopping Mad from Granite Brewery. Never had that. Apparently that's just an American Pale Ale at 4.5%.
I think I've had that, and I don't think I was terribly impressed with it.
You had from the Granite Brewery? You actually had some from them?
Yeah, I went there for Father's Day last year. They had like a big thing on, and I had a bunch of their beers. I don't know. I went there more for the food than anything else because they had like a big Father's Day brunch. But that's where I have a granite glass, like a pint glass. On the back it says Dad's Pint, keep hands off or whatever. That's my Untapped logo, or has been for like a year. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think I had it when I went there that time. Like I said, most of their stuff is either like traditional English, or like a spin-off of that, but still not very like American in style. So
yeah, so it's probably all pretty much geared as like food pairing beer for pub food.
Yeah, pub foods type of beers. Yeah, totally.
All I know, dry hop with East Kent Goldens all day, every day for Lee, all day.
I was waiting for you to pick that one up.
Lee would have probably loved it, I must say.
And then served on cask too. Oh boy, shit just got real.
Yeah. No chance with Miranda from Great Lakes. Their saison.
Haven't had it.
Belgian yeast, lemon, and coriander notes. Sounds okay. Number 9 IPA from Duggan's Brewery. He's an infamous character.
Probably a 10 out of 10.
Probably. Unless
I
it's
had that when I was getting into craft, like way, way back in the day. And then it disappeared off the shelves. And I think I asked Chad at one point because I was watching a video and he was shitting on Mike Duggan. And I asked, isn't he like the guy who had number 9 IPA and all this? Yeah. Well, where the fuck did they go? Because they were on the shelves everywhere, and then they disappeared. So I haven't had it recently, but I'm guessing my memory is not that bad, and it's actually not that good.
They say it's very malt forward, like to the point where you wouldn't necessarily recognize it as an IPA.
My question is, maybe you got sued by Magic Hat with the whole number 9 thing.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, because they were basically suing
everybody. Everybody.
Anyone who had a 9 on their label, for fuck's sake. Like,
your sex looks like my 9 upside down, fuckers. Get rid of it. And it's like, whoa, 2 different.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I can't remember what that brewery was that they sued, but they had a logo which their number 6 something beer, and it was like, your 6 is an upside down 9. You're infringing on our copyright or whatever. It's like, wow, like really.
No, it was called West 6 brewing out of.
Okay.
West 6 brewing out of Kentucky. It was an upside. Basically, their logo was a 6. It looked similar to the 9 that Magic Hat uses for their number 9, and they lost their shit. Like, people would get confused because they can't tell the difference between a fucking 6 and a 9.
But they weren't even competing in the same markets.
It's just, even if they were, it's like it's a 6 and a 9.
Yeah.
If you walk into a fucking store,
Magic Hat owned by somebody bigger? They
Yeah,
are,
there,
right?
there's a big conglomerate, I think, that owns them. They're like
Widmer
sort of-
Brothers and Red Hook and
yeah, and I think they're further owned by like some South American fucking company that's like partly owned by Pepsi or Coke or some shit.
it's a Costa Rican company called Florida Ice and Farm Company.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Nutcracker Porter from Black Oak.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Spice Bomb, that fucking thing.
Looks like it, yeah.
I never actually had that. Didn't you bring us the barrel age version, Aaron?
No, I fucking gave you one.
I know we had it. I think I left it at Chad's and never drank it.
Yeah, it comes out every year. To my knowledge, they never made a barrel aged one, although they may have. But it's a spice bomb. It's good, but it's along the lines of like, have you had like Vertical Epic? You know what I mean? Like it's that like super spicy.
It's like a winter warmer that's over spice, basically.
Sounds like a one and done sort of beer.
Mm.
Yeah, probably nightcap type of thing going down. Dessert beer almost.
They have Omerta from Bellwoods. Never had that, but if it's Bellwoods, I'd want to try it.
I had it last year. It was really good.
So
really good.
3.5 I gave it.
You had it. You had it this year's version, though, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's complete. He's talking about this. Obviously, I would assume this year's version, and I think they changed what it was completely, didn't they?
No, it was blood
One of
oranges and hibiscus.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Blood oranges and hibiscus, apparently. Yeah.
They're barrel aging that with rum barrels, coconut, and fucking pineapple.
Yeah, you're going to be getting me at least 18 bottles of that.
Yeah,
because I'm placing an order. I'm definitely placing an order. Multiple
the beer is so-so, but I'm guessing in a fucking rum barrel with coconut and pineapple additions, it's going to be way more than so-so. I'm fucking super excited for that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, yeah. He's got another fucking saison on this list. Jeez, he's crazy for saisons on this fucking list.
Yeah.
Pumpkin saison du Pump from Great Lakes.
It's good.
I thought it was shit.
that's what he says too. It's good. Drink it.
I didn't get much of the pumpkin stuff going on. It was basically
no, there's not a whole lot of pumpkin in it, but it's not a bad beer.
It was one of those ones where it's not a bad beer for what it's supposed to be. It was like,
Well, is it a pumpkin spiced or is it just like straight up pumpkin?
No, it's pretty straight up pumpkin.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't have a whole lot of. It's more of a saison than anything else.
Yeah, it's basically a regular saison there. I don't think there's like pumpkin spices in it, but I could be wrong. If there is pumpkin spices on it, I don't taste any pumpkin spices.
Because to get just a straight up pumpkin flavor, you probably have to roast the pumpkins to draw anything out of them too much. Because pumpkin's kind of neutral on its own in a way, like it's not that flavorful.
That one's back out in bottles this year, but like I think I had that last year, or not even, maybe it's the year before. But yeah, I don't recall. I mean, I recall it being decent, but I don't recall it being much of a pumpkin ale per se.
Yeah.
But I like saisons, so from that perspective, I don't love them. I don't saison. Sorry, saison.
Is it a saison?
It's a French word.
But I can see the thought process behind it though. It's like, wow, pumpkin beers have been really big the last couple of years. Saisons are really big. Let's combine them together and we'll sell a shitload of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So next is Stay Classy from Bellwoods, their session IPA.
For me, best session IPA I've had to this point, especially considering the ABV. It's 3.2% and has more flavor than the majority of the session IPAs on the market, especially in the States. It's kind of ridiculous.
He adds as a bonus, at this low an ABV, you can actually legally drink this one while driving.
That's a great little nugget of information, fuckstick. Are you serious? How'd you put that on?
He's got an asterisk.
Sure he must be fucking joking.
Yeah, he's got an asterisk, and then you get down to the bottom of the page and it says you can't drink any beer while driving.
Still, that's just dumb to put in.
Jeez.
But anyway, that's not 3.2%, dude. It's like 2.8%.
2.9. Get it right. Actually, I don't know. It's definitely under 3. It's definitely under 3 right now.
It's under 3 for sure.
And that's one that if you can get at some point, Lee, I think you'd be interested in trying it just from the sheer fact that it's under 3%, and it tastes like it has all the flavors of like a double, like, well, I can say a double IPA, but a regular IPA that's 6 to 7%. It's mind blowing. Now, granted, the body is super thin to the point where it's water because it's fucking 2 point whatever %. So someone like Paul would instantly be like, oh, it's fucking a negative 800 rating. But it's flavor wise, it's fucking phenomenal.
You have to understand what kind of a feat it is to have a beer that is nearly 50% the ABV of a fucking Bud or whatever and tastes like that beer does. It is, in fact, I just checked, it is like the lightest beer in Canada that's made in Canada that isn't like fucking non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
So, and the amount of flavor, I feel like people sell it short because, yeah, it is a little like thin or watery.
It's definitely watery, but
there's still good carbonation to it. It's
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
is
it's hard
a
to
summer
do, though.
crusher.
Like,
Like,
a beer that's low alcohol and actually tastes like something, though.
yeah, it's
then I have
it's amazing.
It's tough when you brew those low ABV beers because it's tough to brew them without flaws, where you're getting
Exactly.
off
There's nothing to
flavors.
hide. There's nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Garbage behind.
Yeah.
I've heard it said that Wizard Wolf is better than Stay Classy, and it's not even comparable. Wizard Wolf is an okay session pale ale or IPA, but I've had enough of those, so Wizard Wolf doesn't really hold its own in that category. But Stay Classy has invented its own fucking category, and they crushed it.
Yeah, it's not even really a session IPA at this point.
No, they don't call it a session IPA either. They call
No,
it.
they call it a session ale, right?
I think they call it a light session ale.
A light session ale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing though. So that's a beer that someone needs to get out to you at some point, Lee, to try for sure.
Yeah. And the last one on this section of the list is the Vanilla Porter from Mill Street, which I don't know if I. Yeah, it's a good beer though. It's a really good beer. I like it.
I like
Yeah.
it as well.
I feel as if it's more like a 10.25 out of 10. Like it's above a 10 out of 10. I mean, if you were looking at it objectively, there isn't a better beer made in this world than the Vanilla Porter from Mill Street. It's 5%. It's nitro. It's all vanilla.
Actually, Innocentes makes probably 3 or 4 beers better than that.
Not for what it is though. Like just personal opinion, I think we'd all say it's good. It's a solid vanilla porter, and definitely a step up from like this earlier stuff. Like I like it better than Cobblestone.
And you only need about 3.5 to make ghee puke.
Yeah, that's true. It's too much vanilla extract.
Have you had that funnel blower? That's like a vanilla brown porter type of deal, right?
Are you insulting?
Do you know what I'm
I don't know
talking
you
about,
just
Joe?
said. No, funnel blower.
Box Steam, I think it is. I bought one today. I heard Chad say that he liked it, so I was like, "Fuck, I'll check it out."
Are you making brewery names? Box steamer?
No, Box Steam.
Box steam.
As long as it's not called Cleveland Steam.
Yeah. Box steam funnel blower is the name of the beer.
Do you think if there was a brewery called Cleveland Steamer Breweries, do you think Fritz Maytag would bother trying to sue him?
Probably.
Cleveland Steamer. I don't know. He'd send beer sampling with Dave to check it out.
Fritz Maytag tries to put down a Cleveland Steamer would be like the fucking headline.
That would be awesome.
Cleveland Steamer won't lay down for Fritz Maytag.
Or if he's successful, Fritz Maytag drops a Cleveland Steamer.
Oh my god, that would be pretty fantastic. Probably the best you could possibly do.
Yeah.
What fuck chat did I join?
You joined one where you're actually going to have fun and talk about stuff instead of just standing there through.
I just got up and walked away to come back, and you guys talking about Cleveland Steamers. For fuck's sake.
if anyone decides not to carry them because they're under litigation, they would drop Cleveland Steamer as a brewery.
So this is already derailed.
Yeah, but let's get back here. Now we're on Let's Get Hoppy.
Yeah, why don't we?
504 Pale Ale from Liberty Village Brewing Company. Never heard of it.
There are some
Apparently
obscure beers that, like, I didn't even hear the breweries, let alone the fucking beer itself.
Apparently no one else has heard of it either. 10 beer years for Black Oak. That's a really good beer.
It's an 11.
Maybe a 12. It all depends. Yeah, I do remember Chad, though, specifically mentioning that beer was much better before they released it to LCBO, because when I had it, it was good, but it was not anything mind-blowing or, like, great. But people still talk about how it's awesome. But then Chad told me that they cut down on certain hops and stuff because they couldn't afford it if they wanted to mass-produce it and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. It's good, though.
It was okay. It's all right. I don't know. I've had way too many double IPAs in the last year to, I don't... I mean, go to fucking Bellwoods and buy Boogie Monster.
Yeah, I agree.
So apparently Peter did get kicked out of the thing, like, legitimately somehow, because it keeps telling him he's not allowed to join now for some fucking reason.
And kick ban.
Yeah. That is bullshit. Fuck. I might just have to jump into Google Plus here for a second, see if I can. It might have blocked them or some shit.
Where'd you go, Joe?
Let's see. What's next on here? Audrey Hepburn from Great Lakes. Never had that.
What?
Yeah, never had that. I never even heard of that one.
Audrey Hepburn? It's a Belgian IPA. Oh,
is it?
That's the style they're going for. Yeah, it's okay.
Some Audrey Hopper? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I've never had that. I've heard mixed views on that. Do they still make that? Is that like a regular offer?
It comes and goes, I believe. I haven't seen it in the LCBOs this year. It did come. Actually, I think it was around this time last year that it was out in LCBOs. But it has come and gone from the brewery a couple of times.
Yeah, well,
This Duchesse is insane.
You like it?
It's really good, but I haven't had it actually before. And it is super like balsamic, man.
Yeah, and it's sweeter too because it is.
It's very
Isn't it
sweet.
Flanders red?
Yeah,
Or-
the Flanders, yeah.
yeah.
Or that style, like that style. It's one that, I mean, it may be too sweet for me, but it's that balsamic note, you know what I mean? Like just, and it does have some tartness, but I agree that it is actually, it finishes more on the sweet side of things than anything. Drinkable though, still.
One last thing here, try. See if I can send him the join link and see if he can do that automatically. Bullshit. I hate Google Plus.
You trying to invite somebody or what?
I'm trying to get Peter back in because for some reason the fucking thing kicked him. I didn't
Can't you
even
send him like a link to the thing to his inbox on YouTube or something?
I just direct messaged him the link.
'Cause the invite thing is all screwy. Like you go to the Google Plus and you click it and it's like, well, there's a chat going on and it's all fucked up. It doesn't. I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll get back to this list here. Bone Shaker, which I'm drinking. I agree with that one. That's a good beer. Apparently, it was a lot better before they started filtering the hell out of it. But from what I've heard. Greg Bylog there said that they used to have it like really unfiltered. But yeah, because you look at it now, and like even though it says on the 6-packs that it's unfiltered, it's like you look at it and it's like pretty much clear as day right through. So. Let's see here. So Canuck from Great Lakes. Haven't had
Solid.
that one.
Pretty solid.
Wasn't that the crazy? Used to be Crazy Canuck, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Rebranded that shit so that it looks not ridiculous.
well, speaking of ridiculous, they have Cock Puncher next from the Indie Ale House.
It is 11% Imperial IPA that apparently I'm just using the cock. Great.
I've not had a cock punch.
No, never? Just you've never had one?
Fracture from Amsterdam. Never had
Better
that
than
either.
Bone Shaker for sure.
Was it?
Yep. I mean, for my personal palate, it's a little more on the fruity side. It still has a huge resin sort of backbone. Joe, what did you think of the one I gave you?
Yeah, I mean, the one you gave me was like 4 months old, and it held up like relatively well still. Being that old, it still had a lot of the qualities that I would imagine you would find, being a month and a half old. So it was pretty good. I think fresh it probably was quite tasty. So
I'm guessing that. I didn't have mine fresh either, by the way. I think the
No,
one
I
I
know
gave
you
you,
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
I had it like maybe a month before you did, but
yeah, so I remember when you got them, you're like, oh, these are quite old already. I'm like, whatever. I mean, with Imperial IPAs, you can kind of get away from it as long as they're basically hop to ridiculous heights, because the fact of the matter is they'll still hold up if they have enough hops for a while. It's the beers that have already a great balance, double IPAs out of, like right from the get-go. If you get a double IPA that's like 2-3 weeks old, it's already perfectly balanced. In about a month and a half, it's super sweet.
yeah, it just starts to fade out, yeah.
Yeah, real bad. So.
Okay, let's see. Cock Puncher, Fracture, Instigator from the Indie Ale House.
Not had it.
The Indie Ale House, they only have it, I think, at their actual ale house. They don't.
Yeah.
They brew there like it's a brew pub, but they don't release bottles or anything, right? Just growlers, I'd imagine.
You can get growlers there, and they also do. I'm not sure if they go it alone to other pubs in like Toronto and the area, but they do collabs that end up in pubs. I've had a collab of them and Great Lakes actually did a session IPA, 8 days a week, I think it was called. It was really quite good, actually. I enjoyed it. And I didn't get it at Indie Ale House. I got it at like Bar Hop or something.
Gotcha.
Okay, next we have Karma Citra from Great Lakes. Another one I've never had.
Good,
Yeah.
but I'll take Thrust over that any day.
It's a canned IPA, and interesting enough that Aaron gave me one, and again, it was one of those ones where he picked up a bunch, and by the time we met up, it was already like a month and a half, 2 months later. And I liked it quite a bit, despite the fact it probably had like 3.5 months on it. I found it better than probably the majority of people who drank it, from what I've seen, because everyone does go crazy about Thrust, like you said, Aaron. I thought it was pretty damn good.
Did I end up giving you a Thrust though?
I did, and I didn't like it as much as Karma Citra.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Did I give you the?
Oh, you gave me a Thrust. I like it. Nah, I see what he did there. Great.
So you learned how to do the thrust from the Karma Citra after
Yes,
eating it?
That's awesome. Oh
I
god.
I enjoyed it better than the Monogamy Citra though from Bellwoods.
Oh, yeah.
I think I gave you one of those as well.
Yeah, it was better than the Monogamy Citra.
Yeah.
There's way too much stuff, man. This is
I know. Moving on.
Well, I don't know if we're moving on to anything any less weird, because now it's Limp Puppet from Great Lakes Session IPA.
So we're talking about Karma Citron and giving people thrust with the fucking cock puncher, now the limp puppet.
There's a theme in this article that is underlying, I think.
That's awesome. Limp Puppet, that's a session IPA from Great Lakes at 3.2%. Aaron, now, I have yet to see, aside from Stay Classy, any really session ale be under 4% of all the new ones coming out. So 3.2.
Sounds good.
I would like to just try it for the name alone.
Next is Miami Weiss from Great Lakes.
Good.
Never had it.
It came out. It came in the LCBO last year.
Isn't it the one with the big fucking orange on the orange silk cover bottle? Or no?
Well, I think they changed it. It's like scruffy Miami Vice dress dudes.
Oh,
because they changed it to be labels kind of that look like their other labels. It came out last year. Like I think they put it out last summer, pretty late, and then it came out earlier this year, like in the spring summer time. It's good. It's It's what I think that Gumball Head would be like, but I haven't had Gumball Head. Three Floyds.
I'm trying to think. What is the Ontario beer where it's like it's almost like a Rogue, the Voodoo chocolate, where it had the pink covering, but it had an orange covering, had an orange slice on it. Is that Amsterdam's orange?
That's Amsterdam's Orange Vice, yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Right.
Which is shit, as far as I know. I haven't had one in like 2 years, but it's one of the regular offerings.
Here's one I think we had this at the festival, didn't we? My Bitter Wife. I can't remember. I don't think I thought of it. No, we didn't?
No, we did.
Oh.
I want to say we reviewed that. It was Paul, myself, maybe you?
I think I had some of it, yeah.
And maybe Nick. We thought it was okay. I think we thought that the nose was much better, kind of like Aaron said with the Saison. Like real fruity, citrusy, nice and nose, and then we got into it and it was like, it's kind of just a decent IPA, nothing to really write home about. But a lot of people seem to really like that, including this guy. But I don't know how fresh ours was either. I don't think Chad ever mentioned. And I know I'm talking about freshness a lot, but we're talking IPAs. There is a huge difference between like 3 months and 3 weeks.
Yeah.
A lot of these, especially with these new IPAs with the crazy.
They were LCBO fresh though. I remember you telling me that you had it. And so I would say they were probably within a month and a half. So not like super fresh, but not totally faded the fuck.
Gotcha.
Okay, next is Roman Candle from Bellwoods.
Oh my god. Fucking love that beer. So good.
Take that, Cat Lady.
I like them both. I think they're both amazing.
Oh man, so much better than Cat Lady in my opinion.
I like both, but yeah, you think Cat Lady's better or Roman Candle?
Roman Candle.
Yeah, I like Roman Candle more, but I even like Cat Lady. Isn't Cat Lady
yeah.
I mean, I honestly haven't had many IPAs or parallels from those that I thought were less than good, for the most part.
I haven't had any that I thought were less than good.
Yeah.
Less than stellar? Yeah, I would say, well, we both didn't really super love Witch Shark, so...
But it was still good. It just wasn't amazing. It's one of those things where...
It wasn't less than good. They don't have a beer that's less than good that I know of.
And that's the thing. It's like... there's a lot of breweries that they can be world-class breweries and they still make at least one just shit beer. That, like, it's universally recognized as just being like a subpar beer, and you're just like, oh wow, from Bellwoods I've yet to have one. Now, granted, I've had like their Grizzly Bear and a couple other things that, for me, like stylistically, I don't really care for them, but I know they're well made, and I know for the style and everything, if you like a hoppy brown ale, Grizzly Bear is a fucking really good one. Like it's one of those things where.
But what did you give it in terms of a rating? I don't remember.
Maybe like a 3.25, say.
So
3.5.
Anything over 3 is still like a good beer, a beer that you would probably drink. Like
3.5-ish is good. A 3 to 3.25 is above average, say. So it's better than the norm. But like anything above 2.5 for me is a pass, and I think it's the same thing for you, right? Lee, 2.5 pass, right? So it's like once you get to the 3, it's like, well, these are better than the majority of just the regular old beers you can get in general from everything, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I'd say 3.25. I think
It's fucked because, like, I mean, it's what separates them from a Great Lakes or an Amsterdam, much more an Amsterdam. I mean, Amsterdam's core lineup basically is fucking. I mean, Bone Shaker's well made. Some of the other ones aren't even well made. They're like KLB Raspberry Wheat is a fucking terrible beer. It may be well made, but it's not. I don't know. I can't even say. It's not a style that I really like at all. But you're right. Like, I mean, even Great Lakes, man, they have beers that I would give a 2.5 out of, or even lower. You know what I mean? Like Orange Peel Ale is not a great beer at all. Bellwoods, on the other hand, I don't know. I could probably check, but I would say over 20, maybe 25 Bellwoods beers at this point, and none of them are lower than a 3.5, which is like fucked up.
Next is Space Invader from Amsterdam.
Never heard of that.
American Pale Ale, apparently. Tropical fruit. Apparently it's fairly juicy, I guess.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And here we go. A couple that you guys mentioned already. Thrust and Wizard Wolf. So.
Yeah. Thrust is like the poster child for standard IPAs right now in Ontario, I think. And it actually, I think it's back out in, if it's not out in cans, it's definitely on tap at a few places again this week. So I'm hoping it gets so well liked that they just say fuck it and they replace, or they start brewing it full time and putting it in the LCBO. That would be awesome.
Yeah, they mention here it sells out real quick.
Yep.
And let's see here. And now we're into the category Let's Get Serious, and their first one is 3 Minutes to Midnight from Bellwoods. And I like that beer. It's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
Yeah, it's
I've had
good.
Bring Out Your Dead, but no 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If it's anything like, or anything to the level of Bring Out Your Dead, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good, I gotta say. I mean, it's certainly, like, I know there was, like, rumors floating around that it was, like, I guess it used the same barrels or something as Bring Out Your Dead, but apparently that wasn't true. Oh, no, they're saying in...
I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is the same barrel. Cognac, right?
Yeah, cognac barrels, yeah. What was the rumor about that? There was some sort of dispute about what this beer was, or if it was the same beer that they used to make Bring Out Your Dead or whatever. I'm not sure, but it's got tart cherries put in with the cognac barrels.
Which is funny because I got a cherry note off of the more of a sweet sort of dark cherry, though, off the Bring Out Your Dead, along with a lot of fucking great notes off that beer.
Yeah, that's just a mind blowing fucking beer.
I had to take off for a second. What did you guys talking about? 3 Minutes to Midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing beer.
That I didn't have. But we were also conversely talking about Bring Out Your Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You didn't have 3 minutes. Did you have 3 minutes, Lee?
Yep.
Lee did, yep.
Yeah, that's fucking... I still like Bring Out Your Dead better, but...
Actually, Scott and I both reviewed that one.
Yeah, you did. I think
Lee, I think if you read their blog, this year they talk about the timeline between brewing Hellwoods, making Bring Out Your Dead available, and making 3 Minutes to Midnight, and I'm pretty sure they reference how, each one of those beers obviously is a part of the next beer, you know what I mean? So pretty sure it's the same barrels.
Yeah, I was certain it was the same barrels. It's I think it was they were talking about they were using different like they were saying Hellwoods was supposed to be the same beer as Bring Out Your Dead, I think, but
there's an argument. There was an argument made by the what was the guy that used to be on here from Toronto? The
Beeraholic or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yes, the Beeraholic. And what happened was when Chad posted the review, I think him and I did it because you gave us a bottle, we reviewed it, and he started talking about. Actually, I'm looking it up right now. He said this is not Bring Out Your Dead on cherries. It's Hellwoods aged in the barrels that were used to make Bring Out Your Dead with cherries added.
Right.
So they just reused the barrels. And Chad had argued that apparently he said when the owners, Paul, James, and John, and they would film there for the beerumentary or whatever, they said it was the same beer just with cherries added. So I think actually I don't know if the Beeraholic was right or not, but it seems like that's would be the case at least for this year's version. And if, I imagine it's the same for last year's as well, but not positive on that.
Yeah, so it says right on their site, Beeraholic is correct. So, I mean, it's the same barrels. It's not the same beer. It's not the same barrels.
Yeah.
So
it's not like they took it out of the barrels and put it on cherries or something.
Exactly. It was the same base beer added back into the barrels and cherries added, I believe.
Yeah. So basically, though, at the same point, it's kind of the same. I mean, it really is Bring Out Your Dead.
The same fucking beer, yeah.
It pretty much is the same beer with just cherries added. I mean, I think that's kind of what Chad was getting. So.
You lose maybe a little bit of the use out of the barrel when you've whatever you extracted with the first aging, but the next aging has been enhanced with actual fruit. So, right.
So Beeraholic was right for once in his life. Okay, that's good.
Yes, but the base beer is still the same for all of them. It's
I don't think either guy was necessarily. I mean, I guess he was technically. I don't know. Who cares? I guess we'll say. Just who fucking cares?
Yeah. Next is Coffee Porter from Mill Street. I don't know if I'd put that under the Let's Get Serious category. I'd actually put that more in the introduction category, honestly. I mean, it's a really damn good porter, but it's not mind-blowing.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's a great introduction to coffee beers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next, Double Chocolate Cherry Stout from Black Oak. I don't know if I've had that. I don't think I've had that. I'm pretty sure
I've wanted to try it, but
it was supposed to come out last year in LCBOs, and I don't think it even did.
Sweet sauce.
Fermium House Ales, Black Imperial IPA. Never heard of them.
I have no idea.
Yeah. See here, it turns out the folks at Bar Volo don't just know how to pour great beer, they can make them too. So it's like an exclusive thing to Bar Volo, I guess.
Must be.
Yeah. Get Well Porter from Get Well Nano Brewery.
Ever had it?
I've actually seen on Untappd Devin's brother Jared actually have some beers from them, and they seem to be pretty solid. Nothing great, but decent.
Now we go to Harry Porter and the Bourbon-Soaked Vanilla Bean from Great Lakes.
Meh.
Disappointing is what that was.
Yep, agreed.
This
wasn't a bad beer by any means.
This guy's... I don't like this guy's writing at all, honestly.
With the rich, bourbon-y, vanilla.
I mean, I know
It wasn't very fucking bourbon-y, so...
Yeah.
What the hell he's smoking?
I mean, I understand that, you know, he's got to write a column, so, hey, let's do an easy list column. Everyone who writes anything does that once in a while, just make a list. But, dude, it's got enough flavor for muggles and wizards alike. And he apologizes for a stupid joke. Like, come on, dude.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's like Great Lakes should probably apologize for that stupid beer.
Okay, I read this next one. I read this one wrong, and I'm glad I didn't say out what I actually read when I was reading the thing because.
Yeah, I know what you said.
Yeah, just take the EDT out of the first two words, and I read it as that. Just a damn good stout. It's black. It's creamy. It's delicious.
Maybe it does something to your mouth.
Yeah, red tape stout.
Yeah, a lot of the indie ale house things.
I get you now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? But actually,
Yeah.
I get you now.
Next, Tempest from Amsterdam. I agree with that one. That's an excellent beer.
Surprised no double Tempest though. Or getting serious.
Hey, what can I say? Before then, the only experience I had with Amsterdam was their blonde and their KBL raspberry. So it's like night and day. It's like, is this the same fucking brewery or what? Holy shit!
I haven't had either.
Super well, man. You haven't had Tempest?
I have the 2012 and a 13. I've yet to drink them.
Me too. That's hilarious. I have drank them, and I have had. That beer fucking ages really well. Fresh, it's quite hoppy, like
a black IPA.
I would say like a black IPA, maybe not quite as IPA present as that, but definitely hoppier than your standard Imperial Stout. But the thing ages like, oh man, it's good.
Did you have it fresh? Relatively
I don't know how fresh it was. I'd have to ask Ewart. But,
fucking Ewart.
That guy. Fucking Murray. Next is Witch Shark from Bellwoods. Double IPA.
Meh. We talked about that already.
Yeah, I like the name, but I mean, if it doesn't live up to the name, then what are you gonna do?
It's one of those love and hate beers where like there's a lot of people, a lot of people who aren't huge fans of it. Apparently, it was much better though when they made it last time, before that Aaron and I had it. But it wasn't. I mean, people go nuts over it, like just best. I think even Nick Maxwell Star, he's mentioned how he thought it was like one of the best double IPAs, if not the best double IPA in Canada.
Yeah, I seem to recall him saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, it was just a solid double IPA, but nothing that really stuck out.
Boogie Monster, dude.
Barley wine you're gonna be here? Is that the?
Yeah.
The American barley wine.
It's been 3 months, so yeah, it's gonna be a barley wine by the time you get it.
Sweet, I can't wait.
Next is Zombie Apocalypse from Indie Ale House, Imperial Stout.
I feel like this guy works at the Indie Ale House.
It's starting to sound that way. He mentions.
To be fair, it's a list for Toronto, so
Yeah.
It's gonna be all GLB Bellwood, some Amsterdam, and 3 other breweries, right? Yeah. Or however, yeah.
Oh, imagine if Trafalgar was actually in Toronto. Imagine how many they'd clean up on this list.
Yeah, I mean, probably be at the top of the list, actually.
And finally, the last category in this article, Bring the Funk. And their first one is Brettlehead from Bellwoods.
I've seen
Brett APA.
Brett APA. That's an interesting one. Because
Motley Crue 2014 should be in that list.
From Bellwoods, right?
Yeah. If you're gonna pick one that's funky, even though it was like Brett, it was like what, a Brett Pale Ale basically, or yeah. Brettanomyces.
Brettanomyces.
But what I'm saying is, like, I think they were going for an American Orval, basically. Like, they brewed a sort of Belgian style Brett pale ale and like dry hopped the shit out of it. Only they used like the juiciest, like most fucking tasty hops ever. So it was, yeah. I feel bad for anybody who let that thing age, because I can't imagine it would be a shell of its former self.
Next is De Wallen from Amsterdam, Sour Wild Ale.
I've not had that.
Donkey Venom from Bellwoods.
I think
Barrel-aged Baltic Porter. Well, Barrel-aged Baltic Porter? Really?
Baltic Porter.
a Baltic porter.
Yeah, that one just came out again. Like it comes and goes.
Yeah,
I think it's still in their bottle shop or what.
Chad placed an order with bylaw for it, so he'll review it and whatnot.
Place an order.
Let's see here, and here's another one I instantly read incorrectly. Fang boner.
Did you forget the Andley?
Yeah, I kind of did. No, I read it as fan
Forgot the
boner.
G. Yeah.
You forgot the G. Okay. You could either go either way with that one.
Yeah.
Indeed, my friends.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it was named for a stretch of highway in Ohio. I guess that's the first option. Okay.
Fang boner?
Name? They? Oh my god. It can't be an official name for that stretch of highway. It must be just like a local thing.
Yeah, I hope so.
We're gonna drive up the old Fang boner tonight.
Is that up with Ohio talk? I hope not. That's bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they talk that way in Ohio?
They
no,
might.
it's intersection of I-80 and the Fang Boner Road.
There's a road called Fang Boner? What the fuck is happening in Ohio right now?
apparently Great Lakes forced hops to breed with Brett yeast there and created this horrifically wonderful, bitter, funky hybrid that just begs you to kill it and end its suffering. That doesn't sound exactly like a glaring recommendation, honestly.
With your Fang boner.
Yeah, where the hell
Fang
Ethan to
boner.
defend this fucking state? Ethan, where are you, man? This is terrible. I don't like this. Never going back to Ohio.
And finally, the last one on this fucking list is Testify from Amsterdam. Another Brett IPA.
Hallelujah, we're done.
Yeah.
Brett IPA seemed to be all the rage. Even I went to that the Buffalo Beer Fest a couple weeks ago, and Captain Lawrence out of New York State had a Brett IPA that I had, and it was decent, but it was just like
And all I gotta say is someone down in the comment section here for this article said a guy named Poops said, also the absence of left field brewery on this list is disappointing. I agree. EFIS should be on that fucking list.
I think all three of us here were, well, most of us, but we all were blown away by EFIS. Blown away in the simple fact that when you get handed a brown ale, like at any beer fest, you usually just like, why? Like there's, but that was probably one of the best beers that I had at the fest, and definitely the most surprising.
But is it because they don't have a fucking real brewery? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
probably.
Thing, right? Because if that was widely available, like, and someone asked me, what's like a really good introductory kind of awesome beer that could get into craft brewing in the Toronto area or something like that, I'd be like, get fucking EFIS, like, pick that up and see what you think of that.
Because I don't think you can buy it in Toronto.
No.
Does Duggan actually have his own brewery? Is that like it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. So which means you can buy it. You know what I mean? Like you can go there because they can have the bottle shop. But I assume, I don't know where Left Field brews, but I don't think that they have a fucking bottle shop anywhere. Like you can only have them at festivals, as far as I know.
Yeah. And that's interesting. That's probably what they're saying is where you can actually go to the brewery in Toronto and purchase a beer.
Right. I'm guessing it's intended for that purpose. Although not all of these beers are available for sale now anyway, so
no,
it's kind of a moot point anyway.
Yeah. It says, it says right at the top, I've drafted a list of 50 best beers made within city limits. Sorry, Left Field Brewery and others. But if you're not making it in the city limits yet, I didn't consider you. So that's basically.
There you go.
Interesting list, though. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it would be like one of us writing an article just saying the best beers in X, like you Lee saying the best beers in fucking Nova Scotia, blah blah blah. Here you go. It's like it's interesting to read and it's cool and whatnot to kind of talk about like what his list consists of. But at the end of the day, like most things when it comes to specifically craft beer is subjective. It's this guy's opinion. like you were talking about, Aaron, about the Bellwood stuff. There's a lot that he left off that I find are amazing. And if he wants to go with like, let's get serious, fuck that. Bring out your dead all day, every day. Over 3 minutes of midnight, no question.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't list Bring Out Your Dead.
No. Where's like double or Amster's, what was it, the anniversary beer?
Tempest, Double X Tempest?
Yeah, Double X. Where is that supposedly amazing beer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to put Tempest on the list, put the fucking barrel age version.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Yes, motherfucker.
It'd be much more interesting to see him pare down like a best beer, like the best in Ontario kind of list. That'd be much more interesting to see.
Well, then, more interesting if it were not fucking 50 beers long, too, because at that point you really, like, you're even having trouble arguing with yourself about 50 beers,
Well, I think that's why
sure, but fuck, man, like 50 beers.
I think that's why I broke it down into his little sections, because instead of just saying, here are the top 10 IPAs and here are the top 10 blah, 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 by styles, he did it more of like, well, here's your introductory beers, here's something that is a little different, here are your hoppy beers, here are your, like, when he says let's get serious, I'm thinking like more complex beers that just you have to have an appreciation for, and then the whole funky stuff. I can see why he did that, but 50 beers is just a shit.
It's reaching. The minute you're putting fucking Harry Porter on there, man, you're reaching.
When you're talking about 50 beers for a specific city, too, like you're not opening up to the entire province. You're not opening up to like Canada. You're going one city. Like there's only a couple cities that I could honestly say, even in North America, the San Diego's, for example, where you could probably have a top 50 list and it'd be legit.
Yeah.
So. Agreed. But no Great Lakes Beer to Zeus on there, guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
That'd be another one I'd add, yeah.
In a Let's Get Serious category. Fuck.
I follow directions, so I haven't had it yet.
Likewise.
I'm not a rule breaker.
I follow my own knowledge, which is I wanted to sit for a little bit.
It'd have been nice to have two of them, drank one fresh and then drank one after a year to see what
I have two of them. I'm still waiting.
Well, you fucking were the one who bought them for everybody.
Okay, here's the thing. I would have already consumed one, but unlike Lee and Chad, if I drink that much of a beer at that alcohol percentage, I won't get up the next day. I will just sleep in and not go to work or play with my kid or fucking do anything. I have become like much more lightweight in my drinking now these days. I got it out of my system, I guess.
I've gained a new respect for Lee when he drank the 64 ounces of the Bad Apple barrel-aged then drank two more of the fucking the Mosaic IPAs.
Yeah.
Somehow fell off his bed. And
That's
showed
rowdy,
up half
dude.
an hour later.
Yeah, apparently, but I fell off in bed without anyone ever noticing, so that was like really stealthy of me.
The thing about that is that entire hangout, you could tell halfway through that fucking growler, you went from like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? Oh, we had a great time today. I'm like, holy shit, it's done.
You would be shit-faced
like
after that.
I would fucking be in a corner crying somewhere. And Lee's like a trooper, still like, you could like half the time his eyes aren't even open as he's talking. And I'm like, oh, is he gonna nod off right here on camera? Is he gonna pull a fucking John?
That's how I know when Lee's drunk in a fucking review. I look at his eyes, man. I'm like, oh yeah, he's getting along. I don't know if I trust this review.
Yeah. I usually clarify right at the beginning. I've had a few drinks, so I'm drunk going in this review, guys.
The fucking Bourbon County barley
one.
Oh my god, dude, that was the worst one.
Drunk, dude. Yeah.
You like disclaimer in front of it, and I'm just like, is he even going to be able to smell and/or taste what is happening right now? Who knows? It's the fun of watching the review. You kind of figure out what's happening. But yeah.
That's funny. I had that beer, both both of those, actually. I just recently had the Bad Apple BA wrist, because I got some when they bottled it. I just happened to be down at the time that they were bottling it. And, yeah, it wasn't bad. Not bad at all. I got some smoky notes off of it, too, which I was very surprised about. But I don't really know what they aged it in. Like, do you know...
shit, what were the...
It's not straight... it's not bourbon, right?
Fuck. I'm trying to think of what barrels they use for that. No, I think it's barrels from the Yost brewery, or the winery, I think is what they get them from. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Interesting.
Too late.
I've quoted you. I never looked it up, but it was interesting. It was good. I kind of wish I bought more than one and left it sit, though, because I feel like, it might have been... Those beers always... I shouldn't even have touched it and just let it sit for a month or two or 3 or 4 or 10. I got one for Joe and I got one for Ewart, and I don't know if Ewart even got into his yet.
You have a what for me?
Bad Apple Barrel Age Wrist.
Oh shit, that's a surprise. I forgot all about that one.
Well, yeah, you forgot. I did tell you.
You did? I have no idea what's happening anymore. I have no idea.
It's not my fault. You fucking forgot.
Yeah, no.
I also have a glass for you from Stillwell and some other shit.
Look how ungrateful Joe is. He's just...
Dude, I have no idea what anyone has for me anymore. Like DJ, I sent DJ a message the other day because I sent him that fucking beer mail that weighed like 80 pounds and fucking ridiculous stuff happening. And he always put stuff away from me, and I was just curious as to what he had in case I did another trade or I went somewhere and picked stuff up so I would know not to get it. And he sends me this list of like 18 beers. He's like, I got all this shit for you. I'm like, God damn it, DJ. Like, please stop. There's just too much beer to drink. I know you and being in the beer wasteland that you're at. I like how you put beer age wasteland. We were talking about a craft beer wasteland. You could really do anything to that song.
Yeah.
The wasteland, just the general of wasteland.
Yeah. I mean, you can get to the States in like 6 hours if you really want.
Yeah. You can take the Nova Star, man, and fucking 10 hours later show up on the shores of fucking Maine.
Yeah, and then you can
wait back for only like fucking $700 round trip.
Yeah.
It's like a steal, man.
I just find out the tidal currents and plot a raft over to the States and claim refugee status.
If you want to bring stuff back, you're paying 100% duty too. That's fun.
Well, no, you wouldn't be if you went on the Nova Star and you went back into Nova Scotia. But yeah, if he drives around, he goes through New Brunswick, and New Brunswick will fucking ass rape you. 100% fucking duty. It's bullshit.
That sounds like a great time.
A man who knows. Take it from me.
I remember how distraught, like, you have like $80 worth of shit, and you're like, it cost me $160. I'm like, what? You have $80 worth of shit?
I had $93 worth of shit, and it cost me $200. Okay.
Jesus Christ! I would have spent like, we'll just leave the beer with you. Peace out.
Yeah. No. There's a Imperial Donut break in there. There's a fucking there's a bunch of good shit in there that I was not willing to leave at the border.
That you paid like $36 a piece for.
I think the most with duty. I think the most expensive bottle is like $30. Yeah.
That's fucking 50-50.
Allagash's Curia. I think that was up there, but not as. I think the donut break was really pricey. And I left Biscotti break there. Like
I left it there too.
I was gonna buy it, and I thought, no, something doesn't feel right about. I feel like I might get raped going across the border, so I'm gonna try and keep it a little low. And I was thinking like $50 would be rape, because that would be about 50% duty. But no, fuck, $100, man. It's ridiculous.
Jeez.
Is that your father coming in on your brother's thing? That's pretty awesome.
Must be.
Take a look.
Let's see here. I was looking at the wrong fucking video for comments. There's probably been a bunch of comments and I just missed them all.
Fuck everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not how kind of.
These are the 2 beers you guys excluded.
What was that? Yeah, not a neighbor. I never had it, but I'm sure it's okay.
It's decent. It's actually pretty decent. It was fresh, too. It was like 2 weeks old at the LCBO.
What is that?
Renaissance.
Have you had that yet?
Porter. No, this would have been me having it, and I didn't fucking have it. So
Well, that's a foul on, I guess, Scott's part for breaking the title.
Yeah, Scott screwed it. Discount Dragon. Yeah, we actually have 2 comments. They're from half an hour ago. I'm sorry, Discount Dragon. I was looking at the wrong fucking video. He's drinking Koning Ludwig Weiss beer right now, which, yeah, it is good stuff. I agree. And he says, trust me, I moved from New Brunswick to Newfoundland recently. I think I'm in a much bigger beer wasteland than you. Yeah, pretty much true.
yeah, you are.
That's probably the
Agreed.
only beer wasteland that's worse than Worley is, and that's hilarious. But also, kudos to you, good sir, for tolerating that, I guess, because that's not cool. I don't even know what they get out there.
They do get, like, they get weird regional brands from, like, Labatt and stuff that you don't see anywhere else, like, outside of Newfoundland. Although they're probably the same fucking beer, basically, but...
I mean, in terms of stuff from outside the province, or that isn't macro, or that isn't European macro shit, fuck knows, man. It's probably bad, though.
Labatt's Prohibition
Oh, did you?
Series
Fuck off.
Apple Harvest Ale.
Did you have the other one?
They did not. This is how much I did not want to buy Labatt's anything ever, but the Prohibition series, right? So I'm at this Oktoberfest that is about 45 minutes from my house. $20, you get in. There's a casino attached to it, so they gave you for $20 you get $10 to gamble at the casino. If you really want to, you could go play the slots machine for like 4 cents and get like literally $9, $96 in cash back. So
Didn't you talk about this already?
I did, but listen to the offerings here and how I got this Labatt. It was great. So anyway, it was about $5 for you to drink it. All the good stuff was there. The Sam Adams and the Saranac and the Harpoon and the upper echelon stuff. Right? The weird guy right there.
Is that Rick from Pawn Search?
Hey, what's happening?
What are you doing with the old man? What are you putting him on the computer for?
Yeah, this is happening.
You can't hear me. You're lucky. Yeah, turn the microphone back.
I'd be lucky if I could fucking disarm that.
We can hear you. Scott, what are you doing? What are you doing with your pops?
Who's the bald guy? Is that Rick from Pawn Stars or what?
No. I believe your dad's making fun of you.
I think he is. I might have to just kick him from the chat.
Moving right along. See you later.
Your dad just trolled you. He's my favorite guy. That is fantastic.
Considering how much your dad trolls you.
Yeah, they would get along great.
It's cool.
Yeah, see, he knows. He knows he's cool. But anyway, so at the end of the night, I had no more tickets left because they gave you tickets, but I guess they only gave people tickets to use at this fest, so people wouldn't get shit-faced. Like, everything was... You could have as many samples as you want. They just don't want people to get drunk. So I had no tickets at the end of the night. I just went up to I saw Labatt, the Apple Harvest Ale, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, why didn't I try it? I don't have to pay for it. This is the perfect opportunity to try it. And I look, and I have no tickets left. And I'm like, there is no way I am walking all the way across the room, sitting in line to get more tickets and come back so I can get Labatt. So I just went up to the lady. I'm like, hey. Like, you give me like 2 ounces of that? And she's like, you got tickets? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, just give me. She's like, are you drunk? I'm like, no. She's like, all right. She gave it to me, and I was like, I tasted it, and I'm like, I wish you wouldn't have done that. Like, it's so bad. It was what you expect from Labatt. It was basically, Guy talks about orange candies and all these. It was take like a green apple candy of any sort, a Jolly Rancher, fucking. Lifesaver, whatever the case. It was that fake flavoring in a beer.
Ugh.
So super sweet, super fake. I mean, you could drink it. Like I passed it just because it wasn't like just totally gross to the point where it's like, I drank it, whatever. But it was like, why even like hype this up as anything? It's so fake. It's almost like a lot of those Line and Kugel shandies, like the orange and the lemon and the berry and all this stuff, where they're just putting a fake flavoring in on top of their wheat beer. It's basically what the bat did. I don't really understand that point of it. I was kind of upset that they didn't have the bourbon one, because that was the one that I wanted to try more so than the apple, just because it seems a little bit more interesting. But they're $6.99 in the States for a 6-pack, and they come in the stubby bottles, and I don't even know what the bat's doing. Like, what is even the point of that? Are you trying to compete? If you're trying to compete with craft beer, that's not going to compete with a craft beer, because people who drink blue and blue light and stuff, they're not going to want to drink that. It's more expensive than their blue and blue light. And then craft beer drinkers are going to be curious, like I am, and maybe try it like that, or buy a single bottle at a shop that would sell individual bottles. But I don't see many people rolling in and be like, you know what, need to get that 6-pack of that Apple Harvest Labatt, man. Interesting story though. I walked into a Wegmans grocery store and they were sold out of the bourbon barrel ale. Or, well, at least it wasn't on the shelf. It was gone. So I 100% wrong. Shout out to Jameson.
And on that note, boys, I think I'm going to shut her down on my side.
All right, here.
I appreciate you having me in. I don't get to join the weekday ones very often, so it's nice to chit-chat, shoot the shit. But, yeah, I think I got a kid up out of bed, so I gotta go handle my shit.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, take her easy.
Yeah, later.
Yeah. So now it's down to you and I, probably the most entertaining people in this world.
Yeah, no doubt. Might even end up ending it early. Seems to have derailed quite a bit, like just from the fucking start, like trying to get the goddamn thing to start up.
There is a couple people on here now, a couple more comments on maybe.
Yeah, I noticed. Jim is on here. He said he fell asleep watching on the tablet in bed as the sweet smooth of average Joe knocks me out for good.
Jim, I don't know if that's a compliment or a backhand compliment. Either you, fuck you, I love you. There we go. That will just cover the entire basis.
Rage of Hades says, cheers, gentlemen, drinking an 80-acre hoppy wheat beer by Boulevard. It's been a good go-to beer for me for a while now, apparently.
Yeah, Boulevard stuff, I've had like 3 or 4 of their beers, and everything's been pretty fucking tasty, so I can imagine.
And Discount Dragon says there's actually 3 craft breweries in Newfoundland. One of them, Kitty Vitty, you can pretty much find anywhere in the province, but it's kind of meh. The other 2 are Yellow Belly and Storm, which are nearly impossible to find outside of St. John's. Yeah.
Yellow Belly and Storm, have you actually heard of them before you mentioned that, or no?
I've never heard of Yellow Belly. I think I've heard of Storm, because I'm pretty sure one of the guys who comments on the Friday Night Hangout has mentioned drinking Storm once in a while, but I've never heard of Yellow Belly. Kitty Vitty I've heard of. But
yeah, that is kind of interesting stuff. Yeah. I wouldn't think they had 3.
Yeah, they actually got more than fucking Prince Edward Island, which only has 1, I guess, and maybe a couple brew pubs here and there, but that's about it.
How many does Nova Scotia have at this point?
Oh, jeez. We're somewhere... We must be breaking 20 by now, I think. We got quite a few.
I wanted to ask you, because, well, it was going to be... I could save it also for a topic for BDU at some point, but we can talk about it for a couple seconds. I mean, whatever. We have nothing during. Stone, you know how they do the Best Buy Enjoy Buy series?
Yeah.
Right, where you got to drink it. Now they have one that's called Enjoy After, and it's a Brett IPA. So
oh, really?
we talked about earlier. And like the first one that's gonna come out is like Enjoy After 10/31/15. What do you think? Like, we've had this conversation before, but I've never actually seen a brewery come out with a beer specifically that they told you to specifically drink a year after you purchase it. Would you purchase it if it was, like, let's say it was value you with this Stone price, $8 to $10 or whatever the fuck it usually is for a bottle? would you buy multiple bottles, one to have now, one to age, multiple, have now, or maybe try them every couple months? Or would you say, fuck that, I don't like the fact that you're telling me to buy one to specifically age a year from now and drink?
If I had the money and I could get them, I might actually just for a video to do and to do a follow-up video, I might actually do that just to do a fresh one and then try another one a year later, just to see how different they are. But it's mostly a gimmick, and I could see how that would turn people off like right away. And it would just turn people off by, hey, I gotta wait to drink this beer. Like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, it's one of those. I think it's one of those things where, like, I understand why they're doing it, because you need time for the bread to develop in the bottle, and it's going to change probably significantly even in a year. But it's tough to tell someone, and I don't want to say tell, but they're suggesting that you pay $10 for a bomber of beer, and you're not supposed to touch it for a whole year. Like, that's really, really crazy that they would suggest that, in my opinion. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of rebels out there that buy it and drink it right away.
yeah, I think they know their fan base pretty well. I think they know their fan base will eat that up, like, no problem.
And their fan base does not include old man Teku Murray. Not a huge fan.
Yeah, if we had Ewart on here, I imagine he'd be shitting all over that right now.
Oh yeah, he would be letting loose. Yeah, that's speaking of him, and I'm gonna meet up with him. He doesn't have a channel. I mean, he has a channel, but I don't know if he'll do any reviews or whatnot. But the Detroit Fall Beer Fest is happening the 25th, I believe, 25th and 26th in Detroit. So I'm going to meet up with you that weekend, do some bottle shares, and we're both going to the Detroit Beer Fest. So maybe I can twist his arm into doing some reviews and sharing some cool beers. But it is fucking Ewart, so who knows what that
Yeah, who knows what he's going to do. Oh, man.
All he likes to do is duo reviews Thomas Hardy beers with Ewart specifically.
Oh, that's all he likes to do, that and go to bed early. That's all he likes to do.
What a fucking old person.
It's terrible. Jim says the pub magazine Atlantic just put out a map of breweries and brew pubs on their website. Actually, since we have you here, Jim, just ask you off the top of your head how many breweries are in Nova Scotia. You should have a better idea than I do.
For sure.
I mean, you being a beer celebrity in Nova Scotia and all that.
The Pub Magazine Atlantic, is that a specific to Nova Scotia?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's like a couple different pub magazines around. So.
Yeah, that's it. I didn't. That's what is What are the magazines that you actually draft?
I used to regularly pick up Draft and All About Beer and Taps magazine, but recently I've been finding them a lot harder to get. Like, I haven't seen them around in my local area as much, so I just don't pick them. And plus, I kind of got bored of them anyway. Like, Taps magazine actually isn't that great of a magazine. It's about as good as their beer, honestly. So.
I seriously just remember, and I remember this because it was so ridiculous. I don't know if it was Draft or what magazine, but the whole Labatt talking about
that was all about beer.
Yeah, orange marmalade and this and that. And
yeah, because they're they have like All About Beer does have their review page, which actually overall their reviews are probably the better ones as far as magazines go, because sometimes you'll actually see like negative reviews of beers instead of just glowing, oh, we'll only review beers that get over a score of 80 on our scale or whatever, So that's good. But they have their extensive taster's guide, which sort of, I guess it compiles blind taste tests or whatever from around whenever they did it. Like, some of these are like years old, like some of their stuff that shows up in like recent magazines. But yeah, you get the weirdest stuff because you just get these notes that are just absolutely ridiculous. Like, they must either have the best palates and noses going in the world, or they're just blowing it right out their own asses, because Labatt Blue, hints of orange marmalade or custard or some shit. It's like, dude, no.
It was like even people who love and adore that beer would straight up tell you there is no orange marmalade and/or custard to be had in the taste. Like it's like you're just pulling shit out of your ass at that point.
Yeah.
Like you're just making stuff up. Here's an interesting thing on Untapped. We talked about it because on the list, Dev. The first time he said he's drinking a Cock Puncher double IPA from India Ale House. He said it's the only time he's ever said yes to a cock punch. Thanks, Brian. He actually seems to enjoy it. So it's in a bottle. So India Ale House actually has bottles, which I think Aaron said that he's had the collabs with different breweries and that on draft at certain brew pubs and places, but I don't think they bottle them. But they do.
Yeah, cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Any more comments? Yeah, it's one of those things where it's a Saturday night, so it's probably hard.
Yeah. It was like probably the worst possible night to do it, but it was the only night I had to do it. So
we had a couple hours of good conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible, but yeah, if you had a couple more people in here, we probably and a couple more viewers, you'd keep it going with comments.
yeah, like I didn't expect Peter to somehow get kicked out of the fucking room, so I don't know how that happened, because if he was still in, we could have like segued into food and stuff like that. But because I was kind of hoping that we'd have like 3 or 4 people for like a couple hours, so we could extend it until like Paul and people could get in, and then we could move on to fucking movie talk and shit like that. But
yeah, well, I know Paul specifically said that he wouldn't be on until I think 10 tonight Eastern, so another like 55 minutes or so. And Ethan wanted to join, but again, he was working till 11. So
yeah,
one of those things where if it was maybe started at 9, it would have been one of those things.
Yeah, probably should have planned it a bit better, but I don't know if it would have. I don't know if it would have helped any, considering how I started this goddamn thing out anyway. Probably would have went to the same fucking problems.
Oh, a couple more comments.
Let's see here. Fuck that up. Nope.
Yeah, I got 2 new ones here. I don't. I read them.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim says the real celebrity is Todd the Beer Dude. He says I see 22 breweries and a brew pub for Nova Scotia. So
there we go.
Breweries.
So I was pretty much right on.
Yeah, that is That's actually way more than I thought. Like that's Jesus.
Yeah, because I think I remember last year they were saying they're expecting like upwards in the teens of breweries to open this year or whatever, and that's pretty much happened. So.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. And then we have a Rage of Hades says again, Joe, what would be a price you would think was acceptable for it? And it's Stone Enjoy by Afterbomber. Acceptable in my area would be less than $10. I feel like I just don't know. With Brett, you're adding Brett nowadays to a lot of stuff. It raises the price. Most funky beers / sour beers, Brett's more. They're both big beers. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up showing up in the $11, $12 range, at least in New York State. I think out west, in California, it's probably $8, $9. But yeah, I'd say $10 or less. I mean, that's what I would. I'm not going to pay any more than $10 for it. I'll probably pick one up, maybe 2 up. But it's one of those things. There's so many beers. It's like when you're talking about buying multiple bottles of a single beer when you have so much available to you, and I feel so bad saying this thing, because when you see something new, you sometimes just buy like a 6-pack of it because you're like, fuck it, it's new, and I'll drink it,
yeah,
with bad or whatever. But when you have choices and they're in front of you on the shelf, and 10 new things come in the last 1-2 weeks, it's like it's tough to justify buying 2 bottles of one thing.
Yeah.
Granted, in this situation though, it might be worth it because you get to see the before and after.
Yeah, I think it really depends on whether you're really like seriously interested in it or not. Because I mean, if you're like you were saying, if you're going to one of the stores you can go to and you see that on the shelf and it's like, oh, I can buy 2 bottles for $20 and do the age one of them a year experiment and have one of them fresh. Is that really your best choice that day? If you also have like all these other amazing beers sitting on the shelf, do you really want to blow the money on that when you could probably buy 3 or 4, maybe even more beers that are probably going to be way better anyway, fresh, and just walk out of them with this at the same price that day? You know?
Yeah, I think though, honestly, if I had a channel like you talked about. Doing that, you did it with Chimay. I mean, you bought, 4 bottles,
Mhm.
had one fresh, and then had one subsequent years on the same day. And that was the cool experiment. I really enjoyed those videos because you got to see really how the beer changed. Like some years the fruit was more prominent, some it was sweet, it was less sweet, dry. It was cool to see how it really progressed through the whole 3 years. A beer like this specifically, it's like, I think it'd be a cool experiment, a cool concept if you had someone to kind of share it with. So if you had a channel, I think you're going to see a lot of people who do that, actually, beer tubers. You're going to see them buy at least 2 bottles, and if not 3 or 4. Some of them might drink one fresh, might drink one 6 months, might drink one a year, and just see how it changes. Personally, for me, since I don't have a channel, and I kind of just do the stuff by myself or whatever, I'm not as curious to see, so I most likely will pick one up and just drink one probably after the date, just because that's what I would do. But yeah, I mean, if you don't really have many people to share it with or converse with, through like a social media type of thing. I mean, I could sit there on Facebook or throw on Tap to do it, but it's not the same. I mean, that's the one cool thing about beer tubing in general. You get to share your experiences with other individuals that enjoy the same thing you do, and some of these other guys would probably do it, like a Johnny G from Crafty Beer Reviews. I'm sure DJ's going to do it, guys like that, where you can kind of compare notes and stuff.
It kind of makes you wonder, though, like, how long is this beer going to be available for? Because if you're of the mindset where you don't want to wait a bloody year, but you want to taste it the best possible it's supposed to be according to the brewery, it might not even be around a year from now. You might have to trade for it for some egregious price at that point. So it's kind of like forcing you into buying it to start with, like if you really want to do that.
No. Yeah, I agree.
And if you're doing the experiment where you have one fresh and you have one a year from now, even if you write down your tasting notes and stuff like that, can you really trust like the differences? Like, can you actually really detect the differences that much? Like, can you remember back to what the original beer was really like? I mean, in the instance of the Chimay, it helped that, yes, I did space them out between years, but I had plenty of Chimay Blues in between those years as well, so it was kept fresh in my mind of what I was drinking. I mean, are you going to be buying more and more bottles of that and drink a couple more fresh ones and semi-fresh ones over the year before you get to your aged one, or what?
No, but at the same time, I think that's where like the whole video reviews come in. I mean, you can write down notes, you can do even like reviews on Beer Advocate, Rate Beer, whatever. I feel like the video aspect of it is the best, though. You can actually go back and watch and kind of have an idea. It's not, but it's still not the same as drinking it on the reg. Someone in the comments here, Zach Polkmiller, says Enjoy After was $14.99 at Total Wine in Southern California, which was the lowest price. If it's $14.99 for a bottle of that in Southern California, it's probably going to be somewhere between $17 to $18 in the state, in New York State. I would not buy one.
No, I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah.
Even if I could get it at your price, I wouldn't do it.
It's one of those things where how much do you like Brett? How much do you think it's a cool concept? And there are people that have no problem paying with that, and more power to them. That's it's like anything else. We always talk about how everything is subjective, and it's like value. For me, Enjoy After, even one bottle is not worth $15 to $18 for me. I don't really enjoy Brett beers enough to really do that, especially if I wanted to buy 2 of them. If I was someone who really wanted, you're talking in New York State probably with tax paying $40 for 2 bottles of something that A, I don't even know is going to be up my alley, and B, I don't even know how readily available it's going to be here. It's probably going to be a little harder to get hold of around here because Enjoy By flies off the shelf, and they send quite a few of that when they actually distribute to New York State. The 2-3 times a year they do. So it's like, you put together the fact that it's going to probably cost 17, 18 bucks, and then how hard it's going to be, and it's just like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, Joy After, I would not pay that price. If I came into the situation where I knew somebody and they had one, and they'd say, "Oh, throw in a couple dollars with me to get another one," or something like that, and then we could do it later. Yeah, I might do that just to get a couple ounces out of it or something, and just to try it. But not an investment that interests me to buy like 2 bottles at that price. Like that's just.
It's one of those things, Lee, and I think you agreed with me. We've discussed stuff like this before. I really don't have an issue paying almost anything for a beer that I think is amazing. I will go out of the way to pay extra money to get some of the best beers I enjoy. It's when I'm trying a beer for the first time and I'm skeptical about the style or if I'm going to even enjoy it. It's tough to be like, man, do I really want to try a Brett IPA for 17, 18 bucks?
Mm-hmm.
If it was a barrel-aged stout, a style in which I love, or a barrel-aged barley wine, or maybe like just a regular stout, a porter, maybe even a regular IPA, something that I know I really do enjoy, it's like I might go out of my way to get that. But you're talking about a style that might not interest me, man. I'm not a big stickler for price either when it comes to, like, I went down to Paul's and on 4 beers I spent $90. But they were beers that I wanted to try for either a long time or they're brand new and I knew I wouldn't be able to get, and they were styles that I enjoyed. So once you start going out of the comfort zone for me style-wise, it's like, man, it's tough to pay that extra money when you don't even know what's going to happen. But yeah, $14.99. Real quick, Zach, did you actually purchase one for that price? And if so, how was it? If you drank it.
Yeah. And let's see, Bylog on here said, I would have liked to join tonight, but sadly I'm required to entertain some real people tonight. that kind of sounds like a backhanded kind of.
Yeah, are we not real? Are we just imaginary?
Yeah, they're all imaginary in his serial killer world where we're all
figments of his imagination.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But he'll drink a Millennium Buzz in our honor, apparently.
So. Well, that's punishment enough for you.
That's another backhanded swipe, really, in our honor, really.
Well, what the fuck? I feel like we need to place an order. Send all the Bellwoods beers to Lee. He deserves them.
Yeah. Beer Wasteland, come on. Rage of Hades says Stone usually shows up here in Iowa around for around $7.99 to $8.99 a bomber. That's probably the regular stuff, right?
Yeah, Enjoy by $7.99 to $8.99 here, bomber. So if you're talking almost double, I mean, again, you have to in California. I'll give you an example of like really any of this stuff. I know in California it's usually $6.99, $7.99 for an Enjoy by. You start going the Firestone Walker stuff, the Parabolas, the Sucabas are like the low to mid-teens, so like anywhere between $13.99 to $15.99. Those beers come here, they're instantly $3 to $4 to $5 more because of shipping costs. So I would imagine that's the Enjoy after will be somewhere between $16.99 to $18.99.
Nice.
That's
Jason Spears says that my Chimay Blue series was some of his favorite beer-related videos ever. Oh, thank you.
Are we sucking up now, Jason? Is that what we're doing?
Terrible.
If so. No, I actually agree with you. I thought it was a very interesting concept, and I always like when beer tubers do the whole aging thing, and really just for me anyway, it's cool to see the different takes and how beers age because we've all done it at some point, but to have like the recorded video proof of what you. Now, here's a question I have for you, Lee. Though, did you at any point before doing each subsequent review, go back and look at the previous video or the first video, or no?
Yeah, I did.
Kind of refreshing your memory to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, mostly just so I didn't, mostly so I didn't like repeat myself in the videos, and just to like maybe get some specific stuff that I was hammering on in the previous video to see how those things changed. So it wasn't like I was trying to read a script or anything like that. But
well, no, I only asked because like I would have to. Obviously, I don't. Even if I drank the fucking thing like a Chimay every couple weeks or even every week, it'd be like I have to go see what I really thought about it. And then once you got to the last couple, to go back and see how it changed from the first time you had it to the second time, third time, so on and so forth. There's no way I could do it off the top of the dome piece. It would be very difficult. So.
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing any other beers that you can get that readily available?
I don't really have anything else that that I can really age all that well. Like, I guess I could probably do the La Trappe triple, but honestly, not really something I'm interested in aging.
You don't get the quad?
No, we don't get the quad.
Oh, that's shitty.
Yeah.
Orval would have been awesome if you could have.
Orval would have, yeah. If I could get that on a regular basis, I would do Orval. Even Duval, I probably would try, although that probably wouldn't.
You'd be surprised. I think that would be actually pretty sweet.
And if we still got like we used to have some really good Belgian beers. Like we used to have the Chimay Red as well, and we used to have Chimay White for a while, and we used to get Delirium Tremens, stuff like that. So Delirium Tremens would have been one I would have been interested in aging, but
yeah, a lot of the Belgian, the bigger the triples, the strong golden, strong dark quads. You could. What was the other one? You don't get Yorkshire Stingle, right? You had someone send you that?
Yeah, someone sent me that one. That would be one worth doing.
Oh man, that would be a great time, I think.
But I mean, the only other one I've really done is the Propeller Revolution, and I did a sort of mini one on the Pump Host Doppelbock. But
you have no more Doppelbocks?
I got one left, but that's going to Jason. So
Jason,
when I finally get off my ass.
Jason, for Beer Tube Science, donate back to Lee Dobbs.
Yeah. But,
I have one of those from Nick gave me too.
Yeah.
So get into it at some point. I figure it can sit because of what you've said multiple times.
Yeah, 10%. Yeah, it can probably sit for a pretty good while. I probably wouldn't sit on it too long. I'd probably get to it in the next year or so if I were you. But
oh yeah, for sure. It's not like I'm just gonna hang out for like 5 years. All these comments are starting to come in. They were like, "Lee, don't hang out."
Yeah. I think I might.
There's more comments.
Yeah, let's see here. Zach Pogmiller says, I got one, wanted two, one to try fresh, one to age. But for that price, I thought it'd sit on something that could be repellently bitter, so fresh, so that the hops would hold up. And he said to put in perspective, though, other bread IPAs like Anchorage Bitter Monk and Funky Galaxy or Evil Twin Femme Fatale, Brett, are in the same price range, $11 to $15.
I can't speak for Anchorage, but Evil Twin in general is just fucking, their prices are stupid. Like, everything they have is at least like $4 a bottle. So.
Arthur Donald says he's been thinking of trying a Chimay, but $14 a bottle is a bit hard to justify. Yeah, it went quite a bit up in price. It used to be like $10.
I'd still say you got to try it once. I mean, even for $14 before it becomes like 16, 17, 18, and then eventually into the 20s, it's a beer that I think I don't want to say you owe it to yourself, but you kind of do.
Yeah,
it's beers you got to try.
It's one I've got to get around to stocking up on because I get the feeling it's one of those beers that eventually it's going to be cycled out and it's going to be gone for good. So
From your area or in general?
I think from my area, probably. Like I get a feeling the NSLC is probably not going to carry it for any more than a few more years because they've had it for a long time. So.
What other beers have you seen them cycle out? That really, Orval would be one of them, right?
Yeah, Orval, Duval, and like Delirium Tremens, they got rid of that one. Most of the Belgian stuff is what they cycled out a lot of. And some of the Pump Host beers that I liked, they got rid of, like their SOB and their Scotch Ale and the Red Ale. And there's been a few other minor ones throughout the years, but...
is it just because they don't sell well? I mean, they're not that popular?
I have no idea. It could be anything from Pump House wanting more shelf space to put their new stuff on, so they had to get rid of some of the old ones, to the the NSLC saying we don't want these ones anymore. I don't know. So
Daniel Harper loved the Firehouse Red, so I can't believe an A-level superstar beer tuber giving it great reviews. You got to keep it in circulation, and the NSLC, that's bullshit.
yeah, he gave it a B+ or something like that. I think.
I think he was higher than that, wasn't he? Loved it.
No, I don't think it was that high.
I don't know. I remember him giving it like a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10.
Let's just say he did.
Yeah, I think he was more surprised than anything at it because it was.
Yeah.
I think red ales typically aren't like no one's doing dances over them and going wild, but
yeah, he was probably thinking, let's see what this podunk hillbilly from Nova Scotia is sending me. See if it's any better than Labatt 50.
Yeah, good job sending me the single hop EKG there, Lee, like stuff like that.
But yeah, Arthur, I would make the investment at least just once. If you got some extra money sometime, and instead of spending on a 6-pack, just give a bottle of Chimay a try, just to try to see what you think of it.
And Arthur, I mean, neither of us, I don't think have. I am going to speak for Lee, right? It's okay if I speak for you. Right?
Yeah, that's all right.
Indeed, my friends, right?
Yeah.
Still weeds, stuff like that.
Still weeds.
No. So I was just saying, we don't know what like Arthur's had or how many beers he's had, his palate, whatever. But it's one of those beers where you kind of expand your palate a lot too, because if you're not well vested into like the Belgian style, especially quads, they're definitely very unique and one of those unique flavor profiles where it's kind of tough, but you might be one of the people that just jump right into it and like, oh man.
Yeah, it's got a very red wine kind of quality to it, and it's got a spiciness to it. So if that doesn't sound good to you, then just stay away from it altogether. But
yeah, it's acquired taste is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But the majority of beer is nowadays all the different styles, but that more so than next because it's quite complex, and you'll each sip is going to be probably something different initially. Yeah.
And see, Jason Spears says, "Damn, I'll never forgive the NSLC for getting rid of Fuller's ESB." Yeah, there's a good example of one that I missed.
They don't have Fuller's ESB?
No, they got the porter. They got their standard bitter, and they have
London Pride.
London Pride, and they have their honey, their organic honey ale. That's what they carried.
The honeydew.
Yeah, honeydew. Yeah.
I found that pretty solid for what it is. Nick gave me one of those, but yeah, their ESB. I like everything from Fuller's I've had. I've had all three of those plus the ESB, and
they used to carry their 1798 or whatever the fuck it was for the longest time too. Their vintage ale, which was like that one. That's like an awesome fucking beer.
Oh, we also get the vintage ale. You guys don't get any of the vintage ales, do you? That sucks.
Yeah, once in a while the vintage ale shows up. I think some of the other NSLCs, like the ones closer to Halifax, they tend to get some every year almost. But
yeah, it's around here. I mean, it's funny because around here it comes in every year, and this will make you just a bit upset, even disappointed. Most of the English brews around here and a lot of the Belgian stuff, it doesn't fly off the shelves, obviously. Like, you can walk into almost any beer store around here and pick up any Chimay you want. Fucking Rochefort's, the St. Bernardus, Abtwell's, Yorkshire single. It's on the shelves at all time. I mean, it's $10 to $12 for a bottle, but it's on the shelves. Same thing with the Fuller stuff, and the vintage ale comes out every year, and it sits there. And like, I have a 2012, and Paul told me that he found a place that he did a video and stuff on it, but found a place that did vintages from 09 to 13, and like, you guys can't even get it. And the problem is that not only you can't get it, but they send a lot of stock to the U.S. and it just sits on shelves because people don't appreciate it. And those vintage ales are fucking really good.
Yeah,
they are.
But I get the feeling like if I walked into one of your typical stores, my mind would be so blown that I'd either die or I'd leave a poor man, one or the other.
You do pretty much. The funny thing is when Paul came up to go and get the Jag at Chad's, I took him to the place I go to all the time, and the difference between my bottle shop compared to a lot of other bottle shops around the U.S. But I mean, there's many better bottle shops than the one I have by far. But it's pretty stellar for imports. So I mean, there's entire shelves of just Belgian shit and English stuff, and Paul's looking up and through the aisles, and he's throwing shit into his cart just from like, I always want to try. Like, he spent like $120 just in the English section, and he didn't even get everything he wanted. They had like vintages of all these crazy barley wines that he wanted. They had like the harvest ales from, was it J.W. Lee, like from like '08 to whatever, and they had the Ola Dubes and all this crazy shit
Jesus.
that he couldn't get, right. So he's just going nuts getting all this stuff, and that's kind of how you would be, because you and him kind of with the whole English thing, you guys like trying the English beers, and I really never go down the English aisle. Occasionally I do. And it's so much new stuff comes out from the States that it's just like, I'm sure a lot of these beers are just, it took me a long time to get Yorkshire Stingo just to purchase it. It took me a while to dive into the whole Rochefort 10 and St. Bernard's App 12 and stuff like that. Just because the price point, too, from imports, it's more expensive here than it is in Canada.
Yeah.
So like a Rochefort, I think 10 came into Ontario, and it was like $3.99 a bottle. The same bottle here is over $6. For a fucking 11.2 or 11.7 or whatever ounce bottle. So you're talking a significant difference. So it's just like, man, I'll stick with this stuff, but I really need to get into more to the Belgians and the English style, just to expand my knowledge for that stuff and try some of the classics as well. Like, kind of go by the wayside because all the new stuff that comes out, people just kind of throw that to the side. Like, if you talk about barrel-aged beers or oak-aged beers, how often do you hear anyone say, oh, Yorkshire Stingo is great? No one even brings it up in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's an awesome fucking beer.
They just sort of take it for granted if they think about it at all. Got another comment here. Rage of Hades asks, Lee, where would you move if it was based solely on your access to beer?
No.
It's a pretty good question. I would move to Niagara Falls there.
He said based solely on beer?
Yeah, based solely on beer, I would...
There's one answer for me.
Well, it could either be any really good region in the United States, or it would be somewhere in the UK, honestly, because they got the online bottle shops. You can basically order anything you want.
Shout out to Terry K.
Yeah.
Right, Terry K, what is it? The Beers of the World or whatever? That he
Yeah.
gets his stuff from?
Yeah, something like that. So I could, like, and the coolest thing about that would be if I moved to the UK, the possibility of hanging out with guys like Terry K and the Urban Viking and stuff, and of course Simon Martin, because who wouldn't want to hang out with that little fucking troll? But to hang out and do beer reviews and stuff with them would be awesome. Or if I lived like in the Niagara region or just across the border or closer to you, I'd always be able to hang out with you and Chad and be access to great beer. So
I'd say San Diego. And the reason I say San Diego is seeing the shit Ryan gets and just seeing how many breweries are there and how awesome their shit is. It's like, I would, if it's beer solely for me, probably be San Diego, or maybe like Portland. Portland also, Oregon has great stuff. There's a lot of places in Michigan. If you're talking the states, San Diego would be at the top of the list. But yeah, it's. I always joke with Chad. I'm like, I actually love being where I am. Around where I am here in Buffalo, there isn't a lot of great breweries, like actual local breweries, but we get a lot of cool stuff. And then I have Canada that's 20 minutes away. Yeah. And if I want to, within a 3-hour radius or so, I can go to Toronto. Well, let's say 4-hour radius. 4-hour radius, I can go to Toronto. I can go to Detroit. I can go to Ohio. I can go to PA. I can go to a lot of places that have a lot of great beer around here. And it's not like San Diego where it's crazy popular either. So I actually like where I am, but San Diego, top of the list would be pretty amazing.
I would
just for beer though.
Yeah, I guess on the basis of beer, you could put San Diego on the list, but I still have to take into consideration the fact that San Diego is in a fucking desert.
It's not that bad, man. Their temperatures. The reason why people like San Diego is their temperatures are very consistently mild compared. And the humidity and stuff. It's not like here.
I want a winter. Thanks. I
Yeah,
really,
I do like
I
it
want
too.
seasons. I
love
like seasons. I want fall and winter. I could not live in a place where every day I walk the fuck out there and it's like a nice 25-degree day here in Canada during the summer or something. Like, I can't do it. Can't
Oh,
do it.
you and I are probably in the minority because if I had to choose two seasons, it would be fall and winter. And people go, well, how could you do that? It's winter, it's cold out. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I like it. I don't like going outside when it's humid and your breath is instantly taken away because to me, the extreme cold is the same as the extreme heat. I don't want to be outside either way.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have it a little bit cooler and more comfortable. And, all around here, everyone talks about the snow in Buffalo, New York because that's like it's like, who cares? It's fucking snow. Get over it. Like, if you can't drive in it or you can't handle it, then you're, I guess, living in the wrong place. But it's snow.
Yeah.
It's fucking snow.
And most of England would be amusing because it's usually just kind of damp and raining all the time. And when they do have winter, sometimes they'll get like a few inches of snow and the entire country fucking panics over it. But that would be kind of cool, actually, just to walk around all these British people freaking out over a couple snowflakes. And
Well, that's how it was. I went to North Carolina a couple of years ago, and a lot of the southern states, they're not built to handle any kind of snowfall or like ice storms and stuff like that. Some of the places don't even have salt or sand to put down, and they cancel school if they get like an inch of snow. And they actually snowed out down there, and it was like people were like going like 2 miles an hour driving, and you're looking, you're like, wow, like what is happening here? It's like, this is terrible. But it's one of those things where like I go down there and it's super hot. I don't know how to handle myself either because I'm like, I don't like this. I'd rather be inside in the air conditioning if it's this crazy hot. Where I do enjoy nice weather. Like if if it's relatively nice out, it's sunny, whatever, nice little cool breeze, it's great outside. Yeah, I'm all about it. But you fucking talk about some of the summers we have where it's just like a fucking heat wave, and the humidity is the key thing. I mean, the humidity just makes it worse, and I think a lot of people don't realize it if you don't live down south or on the East Coast. Like out west, they say it's dry heat, so they don't have an understanding of how the humid really fucking, it takes a lot out of you when you're outside.
I think I'm probably gonna end it now.
All right.
Tonight. Sorry to anyone who wanted to join later. Things just got fucked up tonight, and basically what I'm going to do is, for those who wanted to talk movies and stuff, even more exclusively, I'm probably going to try to do another one this month at some time where it's going to be more focused solely on movies. I'll try to plan it a bit better now that I actually know how to do Google Hangouts through the new way they've got it set up.
Wait until they're going to change it on you.
Yeah, they'll change it again on me. But yeah, I apologize to everyone who got like 80 fucking requests to the Hangout tonight. It's not my fault. Google made me do it, basically. They made me publicly ask everyone to fucking join, so blame Google, don't blame me. But yeah, thanks, Joe, for being on. Thanks to everyone who joined, everyone who commented and watched, and everyone have a good night, and we'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.
See you later. Have a good one.